Hi, fifth graders. Welcome to week 2 of our new form of virtual learning. This week, I only have one ELA lesson for you because we didn't have school on Monday. I hope you all were able to get outside and enjoy some fresh air. Because of that, though, today's lesson is going to be just a little bit longer than yesterday's was since we only have one this week. So let's jump on in with our I can statements. I can determine how visual elements contribute to a text. I can identify the theme of a story. And I can determine the meaning of words and phrases used in a text. All right, so for today's lesson, you will have a few different assignments that go with it. First, you will read or listen to the story off of Think Central. This week, the story is called The Birch Bark House. You will have an assignment having to do with the visual elements from the story. You will have an assignment having to do with the vocab from the story. And you will have an assignment having to do with the theme of the story. All right, so let me explain some of that before I send you on your way. Visual elements of a story. So the visual elements of a story can be a number of different things. They can be photos, they could be graphics, they could be the illustrations of a story. Why are they important other than just adding more fun to the story? So visual elements help give us readers a more concrete picture of what's happening in the story. They help to contribute to the meaning of the text. They help add to the tone of the text. And they also help add to the beauty of the text. Overall, they're just used as another way to draw the readers into the text and help us get as much out of the text as we can. So when we're looking at different visual elements in a story, there are a few different things that I want you to be thinking about the whole time you're reading and looking at these visual elements. First, I want you to think about the characteristics of the art. What kind of colors are we using? Are we using really vivid colors, or are they kind of a more muted, dull colors? How are the characters and how is the setting portrayed? Is it really realistic, or is it kind of more abstract? Because both of those will give a completely different meaning to the story. Let's see, what else did I have written down? Also, I want you to pay attention to, are the images really detailed, or are they more just kind of generic? Because that will also change how you are interpreting the story. All right, I think I told you all of the things about visual elements. Just remember, while you're reading the story today, the pictures are really meant to add to your story. So I want you to pay a lot of attention to that. For the assignment for visual elements, I would recommend opening the assignment before you start reading so that you can kind of think about what you're going to be looking for in the story, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. That's just kind of how my brain works. All right, the vocab, I can determine the meaning of words and phrases used in a text. We did this I can statement last week, so this is a review. If you remember back to last week, when we were reading, there were some words that we didn't know what they meant. So we had to use context clues to guess what the author was meaning when he or she chose that specific word or phrase in his story. This week, we're going to do the same thing. While you're reading, I want you to think, why did the author choose the words that they did? How does choosing this word versus choosing a synonym add to the meaning of the story? Yeah, so that's what your vocab assignment is. All right, now to the theme of the story. Miss Smith, what's the theme of a story? Good thing you asked. Let me tell you. See it? Theme. The theme is the message. The message. Theme. It's kind of hidden in there. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so the theme is the central message or idea of a story. This is the main takeaway that the author wanted you, the reader, to walk away with. There are a couple different ways that you can look for the theme of a story. Today, I'm going to focus on using the characters to help you figure out the theme. So when you're using the characters to help you figure out the theme, One really great place to start looking is how does the character respond to challenges or conflict in the story? So we are going to create a graphic organizer to help lead us to the theme. My graphic organizer has 3 parts that will help get us to the theme. This is the one I would suggest using. If you have a different one that you have been taught to use, go ahead and use that instead. But for my examples, I'm going to use this one. So our 3 parts are characters' qualities, characters' motives, and characters' actions. And then all of those combined together at the end of the story will hopefully help lead us to the theme. So to show you how to fill this out, I am going to read the first page or so of the text just so that we can kind of work together so you can get an idea, and then you'll have to finish the rest on your own. Okay, here we go. Omachaius is returning home from an errand. She carries scissors from her mother, a lump of sweet maple candy for herself. Both the scissors and the candy are rare and valued items in her Ojibwe village in 1847, excuse me. She is not eager to return home to the chore of tanning a moose hide and to her older sister Angeline, who made fun of her earlier that day. Her feelings are hurt, and she wants nothing but to be respected by Angeline. Before she went back on the trail, Omachaius rinsed off the old candy lump in the lake. It came out beautifully, creamy golden, translucent, and grainy dark, and sweet. She started walking. Now her treasure was wrapped in a leaf. As she walked, Omachaius thought there was no way to share such a tough nut of sweetness. How would she divide it? Omachaius decided she did not want to cause trouble at home. Furthermore, it suddenly made sense to her that at this point, at least one person in the family should get the full effect of the maple sugar. She would pop the whole thing into her mouth, all at once. It would save problems. The lump was delicious. A taste of spring sweetness and the inside of trees. Besides, Omachaius reasoned as she walked contentedly along, the taste of sugar would save her from eating every one of the berries she was sure to find on the path. All right, so we're going to stop there, and I'm going to ask you, what are some qualities about Omachaius that we think the author wants us to notice? Just stop and think about that for a second before I tell you. You have an idea? All right. Even if you don't, I am going to give you an idea. Then you have a good starting point to jump off of. All right. So the first thing I thought about is that Omachaius seems to be like she was kind of sent on an errand, right? And so she must be pretty trustworthy if her family is sending her all alone. So I'm going to write that as one of her qualities, trustworthy. Let's see. But she also, we also got a clue that her feelings might be a little hurt because her sister was not being very nice to her this morning. So we could also say that she's sensitive. What else? She also seems really comfortable in the outdoors. She's walking through the woods all by herself. And we don't know how old she is, but I'm guessing she's about your age. So I don't know if you guys like walking through the woods all by yourself, but I'm going to say she's comfortable in the outdoors. All right. Have we gotten to any of her motives yet? What do you think? What about her actions? Do we have any actions that she's done yet? Not yet. So in order to do both of these next parts, I would suggest waiting a little bit further in the story till we have more of an idea of what's going to happen in the story. Right now, we still just have the setup and the introduction to the characters. All right, so your homework for the theme is to finish this graphic organizer and then tell me, what's the theme? We don't know yet. It's really hard to determine the theme of a story one page in. When you are writing the theme, please use complete sentences. Complete sentences start with a capital letter and they end with a, most likely a period, but some kind of punctuation. All right, if you have any questions about any of today's assignments, please reach out to your homeroom teacher. Have fun.